In the summer of 1983, Lana and I sailed our 31-foot sloop into the Kennebunk River in Maine. Our daughter Paige was with us. We were on our way back to the Chesapeake Bay. As soon as we were safely anchored, we dinghied ashore. Lana saw a payphone and called Vice President George Bush, who was vacationing at Walker Point. She told him where we were, and to my surprise, he told us to wait right there. 20 minutes later, he roared up in a fast cigarette boat, followed by a boat full of Secret Service agents. He was dressed in an old floppy hat and a suede jacket that looked to be 20 years old. He invited us to come to Walker Point for lunch and a swim, so we piled into his cigarette boat and off we went. He gunned it as we headed out, dodging one lobster pot after another. We tied up at his private dock and walked up to the house where Barbara Bush and the Vice President's 82-year-old mother, Dorothy, met us. We had a nice lunch of soup Barbara made from a bluefish the Vice President had caught that morning. When we sat for several hours around the pool, we got in a conversation with Miss Dorothy Bush, and she asked me where we were going after Kennebunkport. I told her we intended to stop in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard and then head on to New York City via the Long Island Sound. And she said, "Oh, you must see Cuttyhunk. It is magnificent. You must tell your captain to stop there." I told Miss Bush we'd stop in Cuttyhunk, but that we had no captain. She was stunned that we had sailed a 31-foot boat from the Chesapeake to Maine and that we had no captain. The Bush family has money, you see, lots of it, so Mrs. Bush's vision of a blue water cruise was quite different from ours. I finessed my way out of that situation by telling Miss Bush that Lana and I decided a long time ago that I would be captain, but Lana would be admiral. Thus, she would make all the strategic decisions, like where to go and how long to stay. Mrs. Bush liked that division of labor and wished us well, but with characteristic feistiness. She repeated her insistence that we stop in Cuttyhunk. As we were getting ready to leave Walker Point, I mentioned that I had tried to catch a fish while sailing, but had had no luck. The Vice President, claiming to be a great bluefish fisherman, got out his tackle box. He showed me several lures and proudly explained how each had landed a record bluefish. Then he gave me a strange-looking lure and guaranteed it would catch a fish. I trolled that lure all the way from Walker Point to the Chesapeake Bay and never got a strike. And I've reminded him of that ever since. He gets a kick out of it, and then he says, "Well, it must be the fisherman, because that's a great lure."